just got a brand new bag. No, but seriously, let me be serious. I had this friend that I'm no longer friends with at the moment. I'm probably never gonna be friends with them again because I don't think it's good for either one of our mental health. But I'm no longer friends with this person. But they've been on my mind. Like I don't know why. Like I think they've been thinking about me because they've randomly been on my mind. Like, or maybe we've been thinking about each other because I've noticed that history does repeat itself, and I find myself trying to recreate the same experiences that I did the last year. So like if let's say this time in March I was out at a coffee shop in 2025, I find myself subconsciously still going to a coffee shop, feeling like I need to go to a coffee shop in March of 2026. So I noticed that, unconsciously we replay the same experiences and try to actually relive them. And around this time, I was hanging out with that friend a lot. So maybe we're on each other's mind because this is around whatever. But I realized that I learned a lot from that friend. And it's like the things I learned from her, I can't even put it into words because I didn't learn things. I learned emotions. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to carry myself in a different way. I learned how to be a different way. And I didn't realize it until really the past couple months. Really this week as I've been thinking about her, I did something and it reminded me of her so much, and I was like, oh my god, this is literally what she would do. Like this is what she used to do. And I'm just really grateful for that. And even though we didn't leave off on bad terms, but things happen, and I like the truth. I like the truth, and I want people to be honest with me. And when I feel like people aren't being honest with me, I kind of don't want to be in relation to them. Or sometimes it's not even just that. Sometimes things just don't add up. Like vibrationally, you can add up with somebody, but the actual circumstances of life don't add up. You know what I mean? And the trauma and the things you've been through cause tension, not actually you or the other person. Like it's not that vibrationally we don't align, but it's like because of what I've been through in life and how it's affected me in negative ways, and how this person, what they've been through in life and how it's affected them in negative ways. Basically our baggage is what is making the connection not be as fruitful as it could be. But energetically, vibrationally, I know that is a friend. I know that is a friend. Some things you just know. But aside of that, I don't think we need to continue our relationship. I do think that some things you just Cause if I'm being honest, I don't really know how much of the dynamic would change. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when you break up with a partner and then you try to go back to that person thinking like, oh, well, time has passed, so it should be different. And then, you mess with them and you just pick up right where you left off. And I feel like that's kind of the relationship we have, where it's like it'll just always pick up where it left off, but it never... I don't know if it'll go much further than that, But aside of that, she taught me so much, and just how free she was with herself. And I don't even know if she knows this. Like just her present. And I mean, we've had conversations, like me and the friend have had conversations like this before. So I mean, we've talked about it, but I don't know if she knows how deeply, like, she's just like, how deeply she moves people just from like just existing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the things I've learned from her are things I've learned through her just existing. It's nothing she's actually told me or tried to get me to understand or tried to show me. It's just from what I've seen and how she lives life. And what's crazy is a lot of the things that I now have learned and I have integrated are things that I would kind of look at her foolishly about, because I thought she was being foolish. But the fool is a very spiritual person, you know? So through my ignorance, right, I'm looking at her foolishly at some of the things that she's doing, but she's playing a game that I am too ignorant and unaware of, you know? So I learned a lot from her, and I know she learned a lot from me. It was an exchange. So I'll never be like, oh, I mean, I did feel that way at first, but it was because I was hurt because of our relationship ending, and like I said, feeling like there was a lack of trust and honesty. Because if there's no honesty, there's really no trust, and if there's no trust and there's no honesty, technically there's no love, because love is truth and love is honesty, you know. But I know there was love there, but I just don't, like I said, the baggage, you know. But I know she learned a lot from me as much as I learned from her, but we learned different things from each other. And I can't, the same way I can't put into words what I learned from her, I can't put into words what she learned from me. But we were the same people in different ways. You know what I'm saying? We were like perfect mirrors of each other. And I think that we just needed to take what we needed from each other and go our separate ways. But I'm so grateful for the things she's taught me. She taught me some really valuable shit. You know, she's taught me some really valuable shit, and I'm glad I can look back and reminisce on the positive of the relationship. But I have to also remind myself of the negative, because if I just look at the positive, I will blindside myself. So I do have to be aware of the negative parts of the relationship. I cannot pass over that. But I would be remiss to say that it was all negative, it was all bad. That's not true. And I feel that way about most of my relationships now. Like, it's like, was it all bad? No. Was it all good? No. But were lessons learned? Yes. And when I look at situations black and white, I really cut myself short on missing the opportunity to learn something. Because had I continued to have this negative perception of this old friend and just be so hateful about how it ended or what happened, and just continue to paint it in this negative light, I would never be able to sit here and say I learned from that friend. I would never be able to sit here and say that, because she would just be a villain in my story. And how could you learn from a villain? Because nobody wants to be a villain, and nobody wants to be like a villain. So I could, if I'm painting her as a villain in my story, I could actually never give her the credit, I mean, in my grand scheme of my life, for what she did show me and what she did teach me and what I did take from her, you know. And and it's so weird, because some of the most hardest, heartbreaking relationships I've been in have taught me the biggest lessons, that shallow relationships don't really get you, you know. Like, literally some of the most, you know, invigorating, sad, heartbreaking relationships have been thrilling, have been the most excruciating. And I feel like that's where real betrayal comes from. You can't really be betrayed by a stranger or by somebody you don't know. Like, that's not betrayal. That's kind of just you getting fucked over. You know what I'm saying? Betrayal really comes from people that you love and trust and covet. And I also am starting to think that betrayal is part of this game of love. I think that it's just the opposite side of the same coin. and inevitably it will happen in most situations. I won't say all, because who am I, but in a lot of situations, people that you love and trust will betray you, but it will open the door for you to learn more about yourself and also realize that you don't need anybody. Like, as much as I love that friend and learn from that friend, I also realize I don't need that friend. I don't need that friend's approval. I don't need that friend's validation. I don't need that friend's respect even. I don't need that friend. Just as a child grows up and realizes I don't need my mother, you continue to do this without friends and other relationships in your life. It's not a bad thing. It's just a matter of coming back to yourself, and not continuing to build these codependent relationships, because that's really where it was going to go. If it wasn't already there, it kind of already was, but it kind of just gets to be codependency, and it's not even, at that point, it's not even a real relationship anymore. It's a problem. So I'm glad I was able to stop it before it got there, because I could see the not so pretty side of that relationship getting worse. I could see it getting worse on both ends, both of us to each other. So that's what I'm saying. I'm glad, it's just not, because I don't think it needs to be. But that does not mean I can't reflect positively on the relationship and the friendship. That does not mean I need to go and hit her up. No. No. What's done is done. The past is the past. It's all love. I say that all the time. It's all love with everybody. I don't have a problem with anybody. I actually am going through so much in my own life. I really don't care what you're doing, but I send you love. I really do. Who cares? Every time I send hate out, I get hate back. I remember I said something about a bitch because I was upset, I was mad, and I was like, I hope that bitch get hit with a truck. Girl, I kid you not, within the week, my ass almost got hit with a truck. I said, let me shut the fuck up. So every time I be wishing bad on people, it really comes back to me. So no hate, all love. All love. I don't know how y'all send hate and it just work out. I don't know, girl, but it's all love over there, child. It's all love. It's all love. It's love. Jill Scott, bitch. I don't know. Bye bye.